Hi, it's Lindsey Millar. It's October 2. Yesterday, Republicans howled when Democratic Pulaski County Clerk Larry Crane canceled the voter registration of Republican Attorney General candidate Leslie Rutledge when Crane discovered that Rutledge was registered simultaneously in Little Rock, Washington, D.C., and Virginia. The Republicans and Rutledge said that she'd been disenfranchised. Of course, all Rutledge has to do is go to the clerk's office and re-register. Her candidacy may be in trouble, but speaking of disenfranchising, we know from the state's new voter ID law that some 1,300 absentee voters had their ballots tossed out because they didn't provide sufficient proof of identity in the May primary election. We know of senior citizens who live in rural parts of Arkansas going to the ballot, forgetting their proof of identification, and then not being able to afford to make the trip to the county clerk's office, in some cases 100 miles round trip, to cure their provisional ballot. We know of homeless people lacking IDs and birth certificates and the means to recover those items, not being able to vote. So many cases of people being discriminated by the new voter ID law. Today, that voter ID law was in Supreme Court, oral arguments in the state's appeal of Circuit Judge Tim Fox's ruling that the law is unconstitutional were held today. Fox ruled that the law is unconstitutional on its face, or based on facial grounds. That means, in other words, the law goes against the Arkansas Constitution. The Arkansas Constitution's requirements that no added qualifications can be put on voters. Fox didn't look into any of the discriminatory stuff that like we were just mentioning. So the arguments were a bit dull, a bit full of arcane kind of legal jargon about jurisdiction and procedure. But at least two of the justices, Donald Corbin and Paul Danielson, expressed quite a bit of skepticism of the state's case. From the party that brought you legitimate rape, the Republicans just seem completely hopeless when it comes to talking to women. The College Republican National Convention just launched a $1 million digital ad campaign with a cookie cutter spot that's a spoof on the Say Yes to the Dress reality TV show about young women picking out wedding dresses. The spot has a young woman standing in a mirror wearing a strapless wedding dress saying, "The Asa Hutchinson is perfect," as if the Asa Hutchinson is a dress. It's incredibly condescending. Time magazine says it's the most sexist Republican ad of the year. It's also the Republican, the college Republicans apparently thought so much of it that they made the spot for several other races, for Tom Corbett, for Rick Scott. It's just getting pilloried online. And we should mention that Scott Covert, Ozark native, is the co-chair of the College National Republican Committee, the College Republican National Committee. Speaking of ads, there's some nasty ones, nasty direct mail pieces going around targeting House Democratic candidate Clark Tucker, who's running against Republican Stacey Hurst. The ads say that he represented a violent criminal for free and use what might be called serial killer serif as a font. Just so over the top. I just spoke with Tucker. He says that the case that's referenced here is the only criminal case he's ever dealt with as a lawyer. And he was a pro bono representation of a young man who shoplifted $10 worth of goods from Kmart and got into a scuffle with security officers. He pled guilty. That's all we've got for you today. Tune in tomorrow.